Thank you, Doc. We have with us tonight Marine Staple and this friend. Here's a good friend. He's no stranger to any movie fan anywhere in the world. And I'll tell you about being with Roger when you're out of this country somewhere else. If you want to feel insecure. He made a brief appearance last night on the Academy Awards to present the Thalberg Award to Cubby Broccoli. And ask him if he'd drop in tonight. Would you welcome Mr. Roger Moore?
Thank you.
Nice of you to come tonight, because we were both out, as was a lot of the city last night. Rather late.
It was very late. What time did you get home?
Actually, I really kind of nodded off about 12 o'clock or something, but I understand you stayed and sat around and...
Well, I came straight from Swifty's party.
Yes. There are parties all over town. You've been to Academy Awards before. Obviously, that was not your first...
Oh, yes, I've been there when they've been refused. I was left holding the Oscar when Marlon Brando sent up Minnehaha.
I forgot. Was that...
Oh, yeah.
Were you stuck with that?
Yeah, I was stuck with it. Nobody would take it off me. And I was staying at Cubby Broccoli's house, and I took it home with me.
You know, I've forgotten that. Her name, I can tell you her name, or at least the name she used. Sasheen Littlefeather. Now, why would I remember that and not remember you?
You were in love with her.
I mean, I don't know why that name came back. And then it turned out later that she was an actress. I mean, not she's not Indian, but she was an actress.
I don't think she was Indian, was she? She shaved.
That's right, she had... You're right, she had no beard. Because that's before they had the razors at that. So, gratuitously pointed out to me. So what happened? You said, and Brando wasn't there, and she came up and...
and I was sort of little woman, and she came up, actually, she went like that, and I thought she was saying, how? And she was saying, no, we don't want it. So, and nobody would take it out of my hands, and I walked out. The people on the bleachers outside, they don't know what's gone on inside.
Right.
And so I'm walking with an Oscar, and they all say, hey, great, Raj! And I took it back to my daughter in the morning. She said, why, you won an Oscar? I said, no, Marlon Brando refused. She said, well, why didn't you give it to Michael Caine? Not keep it.
Not keep it. What finally happened? Did Brando come and pick it up?
No, the Academy got very upset that I was going to take it away. I wanted to take it back to England and raffle it for charity.
That would have been great.
But they said they wanted it back, and they sent an armored Brinks car up and got it.
I guess that's twice now. Brando refused one, and George C. Scott does not believe in apparently competition among the actors, and although he's won it, I guess it's still sitting sitting somewhere.
Well, actually, that's why I went last night. I figured that maybe a lot of people would refuse it, and I could go and get 2 or 3.
How many Bond films have you made?
5.
5. I was telling you before you came out, I don't know if you heard me. I do not want to be... we're good friends, right?
We are.
And Joanna and Louisa adore each other. But I do not want to walk around outside of this country with you. I don't mind doing it in this country. They know me in this country. But walking with you... You picked me up once. We were in the south of France. What was it Saint-Paul-de-France?
Yeah.
A little French, and you have a little villa up in the hills. And he came to pick me up. We're going to have lunch with him. Nobody knows who I am. I could have been an urchin on the street. And you show up, and the crowds come from every direction.
Well, I owe a lot of money.
No. Because your movies play all over the world. And I realized, I said, my God, I said, I'm walking around here, and all over you. I said, I'm going to put on a disguise or something next time.
Did you ever tell Ed what I did to you when you came up to my house the first time?
I don't think you meant about the tape.
Yeah.
I must tell the story. They have a lovely villa up in the hills, and you can see, on a nice day, you can see the Nice, and you can see the ocean. Côte d'Azur, I guess they call it, right?
Sometimes.
Yeah, whatever. And this is a lovely, bucolic setting, and we're sitting there, and it's a lovely day, and Roger disappears and goes into the house, and now from loudspeakers, from outside his house, I hear something I had not heard for about 15 years, I guess. It was a Friar's stag roast that we had done for Don Rickles in New York. And one of those stag parties, it's only men, and everybody gets up and acts insane and says words that we would not normally say anywhere else.
Except to them.
And it is booming out over the hillside of France. And I said, where is this coming from? And he went in and you found that tape.
Yeah.
And I hear myself saying these terrible things about people and other people getting up. That was hysterical and booming over the countryside.
But they were good jokes.
And you'd found it someplace at some record shop or something?
No. A friend of mine, Jerry Pam, had given it to me. And I'd been sorting out tapes the day you were coming up, and I heard this, and I thought, I'll get him.
Oh, it's strange, just the juxtaposition of being there and then hearing this tape. Last night when you gave the award to Cubby and they showed some of those scenes from the Bond pictures, I'll tell you, they put, as you said, the money in those pictures is seen on the screen. The special effects in some of those things were absolutely incredible.
I'm the biggest special effect of all. You know.
Yes.
I was killed about 5 years ago on one of the early Bonds.
Did you ever have any close calls? How close do you get involved in some of the stunts? Now, obviously, you don't. They're not going to go off a cliff with a...
Oh, I did that. Yes, I went off the cliff.
Come on, Raj. Don't sit here and give me this.
No, it was quite safe because I did have another parachute, so if anything was wrong...
You're doing this with such a straight face. You're saying he did that.
I get very close to them.
All right, we're going to take a break. We're going to come back. Stay where you are. We'll be... Thank you, Doc. We're back. We're talking with Roger Moore. Maureen Stapleton will be out later. We sat around when we were over in Europe traveling around, spent some time together, and one night you start telling stories. And I'd never heard you tell stories before. And you tell them very well. Now, a lot of the stories she tells would be considered,
filthy.
No. No, I prefer to say ribald or, not really, but you tell them well, and you do great dialects, and I didn't know you had that talent. You do German dialect, you were doing French jokes, you would do Swedish or whatever, and you had everybody on the floor. And I asked you last night, I said, now, can you tell any stories on the air tonight that would not, move us immediately into the Late Late Show?
Well,
where'd you pick up the dialects? I mean, just from...
well, the way I remember dialects is to remember a story that I heard in that dialect. And so back in the old filing system back there, if I, for example, a clean one, Welsh. Two Welsh girls talking. One says, yeah, I hear Megan is getting married next week. She's Megan from Pontyberem. She says, yes. Oh, she's getting married. I didn't know she's pregnant. Oh, she's not? Oh, there's swank for you.
Oh, there's swank for you. That's nice.
And Scots. So the farmer's boy goes up to the farm. He says, excuse me, Mr. McPherson. He says, could I have next Thursday afternoon off? He says, you can have Thursday afternoon. You can have Friday morning too. He says, why do you want it? He said, because I'm getting married. He says, you can actually take Saturday as well. And so Thursday comes and he's still working, and Friday is working. He says, sends for him. He said, Jamie, I thought you were getting married yesterday afternoon. He says, I was. He said, what happened? He said, well, I found out she's a virgin. And if she's not good enough for the other boy, she's not good enough for me. They're the clean ones.
Now, I don't want to push you into a story. You did one about a German submarine commander.
Oh, dear.
That cannot be done, right?
No, that's...
No, I see.
That's like the little boy.
No. Let's see. What? Have you got another...
Job? I can't think of a job. Oh, North Country. North Country is, the north of England, I mean.
Yeah.
And the boy wins £500,000 in the football pools, like the lottery. And he says to his father, Dad, here's a quid, here's a pound for you. He says, you've won £500,000, and you say, here's a pound for me, your father. He says, I'll give you some advice. He says, you be like me. Save your money and never get married. He says, save my money, never get... That makes me a... He says, I am a mean one.
Yes. I just wish you could tell some of them. No, but you can't, I guess. Have you ever done much dialect in pictures at all? Have you ever played...
Well, I played an Austrian prison camp commander in a film, which was fun. I based that on Kurt Jurgens.
Yeah.
And that was fun to do. My first job, actually, in America was playing a Frenchman for NBC on Robert Montgomery Presents, and I played opposite Phyllis Kirk and...
You're talking about what they call the golden days of television, where everything was live.
Yeah. And I played a French diplomat who was sort of enamored of both the gods, and played it with a French accent. And Albert McCleary, who used to produce and direct the Hallmark shows, called up my agent's MC at that time and said, the Frenchman who was on last night, could he play with an English accent?
Well, that's hysterical.
Because we're doing the story of Sarah Bernhardt, and Sarah Churchill doesn't do a French accent, so we want to make the Frenchman English.
Oh, that's wonderful.
And that was the beginning of my career, Frenchman.
They thought you were a Frenchman, and because you do it in English accent.
So I played the Englishman with the English accent.
You've got some wonderful children. Are any of them interested in the entertainment business?
Well, my daughter wants to act. She's 18 now.
She's pretty.
She's a beautiful girl.
Pretty girl.
And my 15-year-old son, he's not quite sure what he's going to do. My now 8-year-old, Christian.
Yes.
Oh, yes, I did say to him years ago, what do you want to be? I'd just taken Deborah and Jeffrey, the older ones, to the airport to go back to school. Because they go to school at the airport, you see. And,
Our Lady of the Fan Jets, yes, I know that very well.
So I'm driving back with Christian in the car, and I said, you're very lucky, Christian, you don't have to go to school yet. But the day is coming when you'll have to go to school, and then you'll have to go to work. You any thoughts about what you like to be? And he said, I'd like to be a pilot. I said, that's nice. And then he paused, and he said, so they make a lot of money? I said, some of them. He said, well, that's what I want to be. I said, what, a pilot? He said, no, some of them. Then later, going back to acting, later I said to him, it's when I was doing the German thing in Greece, and I said, we were in the car, and I said, do you still want to be a pilot? He says, no. He says, I tell you one thing. He says, I don't want to be an actor. He said, I want to be like you.
Out of the mouths. Out of the mouths.
Yeah, well, he walks with a limp.
Yeah, he's a nice kid. He likes to swim in the ocean.
Oh.
Boy, does he like to swim in the ocean. We had a great time over
there.
Yeah,
but we were talking about stunts before.
Right.
You see what he does in the south of France at the Hotel du Cap.
No, don't get into that.
He has... Freddie, you're not going to let him go on holiday anymore. If you know what he gets up to. Outside your cabana, right down not by the beach, on the rocks.
Right.
Which has got a good 40, 50 feet high. He just goes on, he dives straight off the rocks. Now, there's a big dive. I wouldn't do that.
Well, but I used to do that when I was growing up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mark, you're drunk when you do it.
Did you see the other day, they were on Saturday, they were showing the women's high diving championships, and the girls were 101 feet in the air, though, and doing this? Now, that's only 40 feet out there, but 101 feet.
No, but 40 feet's a lot.
No.
You end up with a headache, especially when it's shallow.
We're going to take a break. We'll be right back. Maureen Stapleton is here.
Thank you.
Nice of you to come tonight, because we were both out, as was a lot of the city last night. Rather late.
It was very late. What time did you get home?
Actually, I really kind of nodded off about 12 o'clock or something, but I understand you stayed and sat around, and or else. If you want to feel insecure. He made a brief appearance last night on the Academy Awards to present the Thalberg Award to Cubby Broccoli, and ask him if he'd drop in tonight. Would you welcome Mr. Roger Moore? Forgot, was that... Were you stuck with that?
Yeah, I was stuck with it. Nobody would take it off me. And I was staying at Cubby Broccoli's house, and I took it home with me.
You know, I've forgotten that. Her name, I can tell you her name, or at least the name she used. Sasheen Littlefeather. Now, why would I remember that and not remember you?
You were in love. I came straight from Swifty's party.
Yes. There are parties all over town. You've been to Academy Awards before. Obviously, that was not your first...
oh, yes. I've been there when they've been refused. I was left holding the Oscar when Marlon Brando sent up Minnehaha.
We are back. Thank you, Doc. We have with us tonight Maureen Stapleton and this friend. Here's a good friend. He is no stranger to any movie fan anywhere in the world. And I'll tell you about being with Roger when you're out of this country somewhere.